What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Fat Man Gaming Podcast. As always, I am your host here at the Fat Man Gaming. Down below is the co-host, the partner in crime, Sir Nathan. What's up, guys? So it's
Got it.
been it's been one heck of a week. We've had
Oh yeah,
news after news after news,
just these
and
last couple days have been crazy.
oh yeah,
It's great.
and we got good news for the furry community. Furries rejoice! Your prayers have been answered, but we'll get to that later. Um, But starting it off, we just want to say hello. It's been a week. We're actually on time. Uh, so Nate, how's your week been?
It's been okay. I've been just kind of working. Been playing Saros after I platinumed Pragmata, which we'll get to in a bit. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I've been just hammering through that, and also a lot of Mega Man games. I've finished 1 through 6, and I'm about to make my way through. Sorry, that's my cat. Um, I'm making my way through Mega Man 9 right now.
Nice. Yeah,
I
no,
really like Mega Man 9. I
yeah,
really like.
yeah, 9 was good. Yeah, but yeah, man, what a week. It's been a
Oh,
wild
for
roller
sure.
coaster ride. Um, but yeah, starting things off, since let's just get right into it. Starting things off, we got to talk a little bit about that Xbox again.
Yep.
So, Xbox has been doing their thing and talking about certain things and all that, and they continued to do the should we go, should we commit, should we do the full commitment and try to make exclusive back on their console? And we keep going back and forth and saying, I personally say it's too late. At this point, you're already established as third party. Might as well, like we said, just keep making focus on making great games and put those games everywhere. They're already on, so they're already so far deep over the edge that damn near falling off at this point. Um, Going back to exclusive would almost guaranteeingly kill the franchise. Now granted, they still got, Big Daddy Microsoft bucks, so they're not too worried, I'm sure. But it
Oh,
really
for
comes
sure.
down to how much is Satya Nadella really going to allow Xbox to drag down the big overall picture. Um, but I don't know, man. It's like the other thing too is they got this the Xbox. What the hell is it called? Project Helix.
Yeah.
Coming out. And essentially it's just a PC and all that. And it's like really at this point, like do we really want exclusive games? Now, keep in mind the things that you and I have talked about last week were that Xbox has literally trained their community not to buy their games.
hmm
So
No.
if they reestablish exclusives, do you think that it's going to retrain their community to buy those games? And then what do they do with Game Pass?
Well, I think diehard Xbox fans, like the people who like remember buying Gears of War back in the day, they can probably more easily hop back into it than the people who just play Xbox because Game Pass basically gave them permission to play whatever the hell they wanted for a certain amount of money a month.
Right.
I think there is like a split of the Xbox people who actually like buy Xbox exclusives like back in the day. Again, Gears of War, Halo, Mass Effect when it was just the first one. Um, Other stuff where it was like, okay, Xbox was the place for that. And then recently it's been more like, okay, well, Xbox has Game Pass, so I can just play new games on there instead of having to buy it. It essentially became like a pseudo cheaper way of essentially being caught up with modern day gaming, which that's fine. If anything, I feel like Xbox should understand that that kind of business practice essentially made it to where they were the on the surface cheaper option. Them basically doing things like raising the prices of Game Pass and like, other things, and like the fact that the console itself is so god darn expensive. Even especially in comparison to the PlayStation, where the entire idea is like, well, yeah, you still have to buy your PlayStation games. You know what I mean? Whereas like
Mhm.
Xbox, it's like, oh yeah, you kind of don't have to buy the games, but also it's still more expensive, and also the price savings that you think that you can kind of weirdly math your way into thinking that it's a good deal. Now we're raising the prices to make it so that it's not a good deal. Granted, they've lowered back down to a pretty reasonable price, but it's definitely playing with it's doing a balancing act. And I don't know if it's really gonna be if it's gonna be something that like keeps them around for a lot longer, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially what Netflix did to people at home in home video, where Netflix had trained the Xbox or not Xbox. Did I say yeah? Well, Netflix had trained the family to not buy physical media anymore as far as homes go because you could
Yeah.
watch it on demand, at home on your TV or through your consoles or whatever you're watching Netflix through. And then, which was also weird because it was this kind of because originally Netflix started and you got your DVDs in the mail. So it was
Yeah.
like it's weird how they went from, but yeah, I mean it's essentially Xbox. You start off by having physical media. You basically wipe out your media and make it irrelevant by doing Game Pass, and it's basically you're cannibalizing yourself. But then the other thing comes into it too, where so this is why they need to stay third party and just keep putting their games everywhere, Nintendo and PlayStation, because we've gone over this several times now. You've trained your audience not to buy your games already. So if you go back to exclusives, your copies sold are going to be very, very low because it goes back to that what do you do with Game Pass thing. But your copies are going to be slow. Games now, game development is almost more, I think it might even be more than movie budgets. Some of these games cost millions of dollars to make, with
A
actors,
lot of
voice.
AAA games these days take like it costs like an arm and like it costs
Yeah.
way too much money to make these things.
And then you factor in that by time that it takes to develop the game, you're out millions of dollars. And if you only sell, let's say, 100,000 copies, you're definitely in the negative on that transaction.
That's why
Um,
whenever there's like a another goddamn looter shooter that comes out and it's like only a couple thousand people play it and then it drops off immediately. It's like,
yeah, and
ugh.
it's kind of in the same state right now where Marathon is out, where Marathon doesn't. It started off really high, and now it's kind of peaked and continuing to drop. Um,
Yeah.
It's the same thing for Arc Raiders. Is now that Marathon is out, Arc Raiders went from being number one to being probably lower than Marathon. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know. If Xbox does decide to go back to having just exclusives only to the console, I see that as being their the final nail in the coffin and their death, the death of them. Um,
Well,
but again,
but
I'm not.
we're also not considering the fact that in the before it even says it's the Sony PlayStation and then it's the Microsoft Xbox. It's
Yeah,
Microsoft. And they're one of the most like one of the biggest companies in the world and unfortunately, I think Xbox probably gets more like data from their gamers that can be used for financial gain more than games at this point probably in my
right.
opinion. Like who knows? Maybe like they're doing something funky with the information, like Crunchyroll with uh their passwords and stuff. Hilarious.
Now,
So
yeah, and the same thing goes with PlayStation. So we've also have mentioned this before too, is that maybe PlayStation should put their games on Xbox as well. Now, again, I think that it's weird because I feel like PlayStation put their games everywhere as well, only because you look at games like The Last of Us that it sold fairly well, but imagine if that was on another platform where the base was forced to buy your games. Maybe Spider-Man does more numbers. Maybe The Last of Us does more numbers. Maybe God of War definitely does more numbers because that
I
game
know
is
God of War would do numbers just because a
yeah,
buddy of mine who was an avid Xbox guy until the recent generation, he recently went through the God of War games because he has a PlayStation. And it's like, Lord
yeah,
knows, there's probably people like him who just have the newest Xbox and will be like, hey, I would love to play the God of War games. It's just Xbox.
yeah.
So
But it comes down to that same thing that we're always talking about is that players played doesn't equal copies sold. And if, again, if you're leaving all that money on the table because your audience isn't buying the game, but audience B is, and you're leaving all that money. Audience B isn't going to be enough to make up the part that audience A isn't putting out. And then therefore you're leaving your developers out to basically die. Um and Microsoft, like PlayStation, not just Microsoft, but PlayStation and them are both known for if a console or not a console, but if a certain studio doesn't do good, their life on this earth isn't guaranteed. Um of course, for PlayStation, you got the big ones like Naughty Dog, Insomniac, and all there. They're probably not going anywhere.
Well, and that's just, and we also have to keep this in mind. The reason why Nintendo and Sony can succeed as well as much as they have is also they have the Japanese market on lock, whereas Xbox cannot penetrate that market.
Yeah, but even then, PlayStation loses the Japanese market to its own by Nintendo.
Yeah, but but however, if we also think about when the Vita was out, um,
That's true.
most
Yeah,
most of that most of that catalog became it, and I say this affectionately, weeby bullshit.
yeah,
I mean that in the nicest way possible because again, I love the PlayStation Vita. It's like the best handheld console of all time. Sans like the Switch just due to raw games, but like God damn, if it like after like the first 2 years of it being kind of supported by Sony and like with like first party developers, it basically became like the dating simulator and JRPG dustbin. it
yeah,
and I it, like it's great for that, but yeah, there was no like game that could be appealing to my buddy on the Xbox on the Vita.
right.
So yeah,
Keep in mind, guys, we're obviously we're being negative about Xbox, but we're not trying to say that Xbox is not worth keeping around and all that because we definitely need Xbox because a healthy Xbox keeps PlayStation and Nintendo in check.
they're the
Um,
reason Fantasy Star has gotten a little bit of a resurgence in the West with the with New Genesis. It came out on Xbox first, and they were the ones to do that.
right,
So I will actually firmly say Xbox is doing a lot of good in that regard for having
right,
to bring Fantasy Star back
and
into the
that's
zeitgeist. So I'll appreciate
yeah.
Xbox for that.
And that's where
And
I play Fantasy Star. Well, played Fantasy Star for the most part before it finally moved over. But yeah,
yeah,
most of my hours were put in on Xbox because
yeah, because they were
I'm not
like,
a
hey, we're
PC nerd.
no, for sure. But it was like I was like, wait, Fantasy Star's coming back on Xbox? Okay, well, I mean that's a sick thing for Xbox, and it for me, if anything, as a JRPG trash, I just saw that as a like, oh, they're actually really trying now. They're not like, oh, we're just gonna get. I mean, to be fair, they really tried with the 360 era with I
Blue
mean, like Blue
Dragon and all
Dragon,
them.
Lost Odyssey,
Yeah, Lost Odyssey is a
Infinite
phenomenal game.
Undiscovery, Last Remnant, just a bunch of 360 only. Shoot, Star Ocean Last Hope was 360 only for like a
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
So there was a lot of things that were like just released on a 360 that are still like, oh, these are good JRPG gas games that
yeah. And
well, we
it's
would love to
funny.
play now, but it's on Xbox.
It's funny too because technically Xbox 360 was considered the lesser than console, but one of the biggest games then from Square Enix was Final Fantasy 13. And it ran like Dookie on the PlayStation 3, but ran superb on the Xbox 360 and had multiple discs instead of just one Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like there are some trade-offs, and some people are like, multiple discs. I'm just like, okay, nostalgic for classic games, you
Yeah.
bastard.
Yeah.
Like it's like when you have to get up from your couch and go change a disc every 20 hours. Boo hoo. God. At
But like I said, we're not trying
least
to
the game's on the disc then.
yeah, it's like we're not trying to despair against Xbox. We really do want them to succeed, but a lot of the things that they're doing are bonehead moves, and basically you've committed to be third party. You should just
I
be third party.
yeah. I want to be on the fence about getting a new Xbox as much as I am for the Switch too. Like I genuinely want Xbox to be so like doing so well that I'd be like, fuck, I kind of want an Xbox.
Yeah.
Like it's just as much as I kind of like, fuck, I kind of want to Switch too. like
But then, I mean, again, like I've been tweeting to you, Xbox, if you do happen to see this, we would love the Project Helix so that we can promote it because we definitely would. Um,
if it's a great machine and it has like excellent games that like either is superior on Xbox or I can only get on Xbox, I'm all for it.
so you heard us, Xbox. Send us our Project Helix swag. We'll rep for
Or
you.
or and I'm looking at like I'm looking at the news for Xbox, like Project Helix, and it says that the price, like the S model, is like super cheap in comparison to like just the regular model. And this is where if they decide to do a thing where they have like they can have their regular series like regular console where it's like $800 or whatever, but if they make a kind of a
A
version where
budget
it's like
model.
a budget version and it's like 400, dude, hell yeah, I'll get that just for for the fact that you're basically looking out for the people who don't have that much money. Even though I will say to the high heavens that modern day game console prices are not that bad because again the PlayStation was $300 at launch in '95. So and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all just like perspective and how much you want to be like well it was like kind of relatively expensive back then and like the PlayStation 3 was $600 at launch in 2005, so it's like okay, what about nowadays money, what would that look like?
I mean, I paid 99.99 for Smash Bros back in the late 90s. Smash Bros 64. So,
Yeah, now
at
people are like, oh, $70 games. Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah,
99.99 for Smash Bros at Toys R Us.
that's crazy, bro. That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, like we said, we do want Xbox to succeed. We need them to succeed for both PlayStation and Nintendo to keep them
Very
in
much
check.
so.
But
Oh yeah, especially like because they kind of like Xbox and PlayStation kind of get put into their own like they're kind of doing their own thing. Like they kind of just like exist in parallel with each other. And Xbox has been trying to basically pierce in from the PlayStation side for the last like
yeah.
15-20 years. And it's just kind of works sometimes, but then it kind of just doesn't. It almost becomes like the I don't look into a game console for people. You know what I mean?
Yep. But yeah, Xbox,
Yeah.
shout out to you again. Send us our Project Helix merch and we'll rep it for you. Um, but yeah, that's our piece on that. Moving on to the next subject. We want
Star
to
Fox.
not yet.
Really?
Move
Okay.
yeah, moving on. We want to say congratulations and a heartfelt yeah, super heartfelt congratulations to Capcom and Pragmata on over 2 million games sold.
Yep.
Um it's we're going to be talking about that later on, but yeah, it's a for
It was
considered a low budget game, they didn't really put that much into it and it took them a little bit longer to develop, but 2 million copies sold in a week, absolutely phenomenal, man.
yeah.
And what a phenomenal game.
Honest, yeah, no, and we'll get into like overall like what we thought of it in terms of like quality and everything like later, but dude, for I know they took a while to get like the combat system just right because the balancing in that game is expertly
Yeah.
tuned.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's just like well, no, we'll get it, but like they did fantastic with it. I guess it was mostly to get like a bunch of like newer people who are newer people at the company accustomed to making like high budget games like this. And dude, they they kind of killed it.
Yeah.
And the producer Jun Takeishi, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
That man is the savior of Capcom. Just straight up, that is the savior of Capcom. Like ever since Resi 7, that man has
Yeah.
been like he's been the producer and main like driving force behind getting all these excellent Capcom games out. I respect the ever living hell out of that man right now.
Oh yeah. And congratulations again to Capcom. Well deserved.
Two
And yeah, we'll
million
we'll be
new IP. That's crazy.
be talking more
Let's
about
go.
that in a little bit. So, moving on. This is for you furries out there. Congratulations, your day has come. Um, Miyamoto, Miyamoto literally came out of nowhere and was like, "Hey guys, guess what? Star Fox Direct." Now, huh? Where you going? To grandma's. Okay. Let me see why. Yeah, they came out. Miyamoto came out and he put his big old fat dong on the table and said, "Look at it and it's all of its glory." And yeah, Star Fox was announced. Now, it was so funny because when it was announced, we were at the shop working and all that, and we realized, oh, cool, Nintendo Direct for Star Fox. I guess they're announcing a Star Fox game. Oh, cool. Sometime in June. Got done with the day, locked the shop up, and went to the car and realized that the Nintendo Direct already had happened, and they actually announced the game and it comes out in June.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Yep. June
but
25th. Let's
yeah,
go.
so already pre-ordered my copy. I will see
Yeah.
if there's going to be a special edition copy. I'm hoping that there is, because then I'll upgrade to that. Um, but yeah, it came out. Announced Star Fox for June 25th. The game looks freaking incredible. Uh, now, granted, it is a basically the fourth or fifth remake of Star Fox 64, but don't let that detour you, because all new graphics, it looks amazing, all new features. And then for you furries, you can play with the camera and you can actually be a fox or a frog or a rabbit or a weird looking bird. Um, and for some of you out there, if you want to be an obese pig, well, hey, guess what? There's that option for you too. But yeah, I mean, it looks phenomenal, dude. Online multiplayer, we're gonna be on there making them kids cry. Uh,
We're bringing back the COD lobbies.
yeah, it's I don't plan on being allowed on a NSO for very long. But it looks great, online multiplayer, new challenges for the levels, but aren't part of the actual game, so that's kind of cool too. Basically like an in-house trophy or achievement system. Um, oh man, there's just so much to go. New prologue. I won't go into it, so go if you haven't seen the Star Fox Direct, go do that, because we really don't want to spoil it for you. But yeah, man. I got a furry size chub when they told me, or when I see the announcement for Star Fox. What do you think, man? Are you ready for it? Are you hyped as I am? Or
Dude, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it goes. Now, okay,
dude,
I'm gonna go funny.
the furries are gonna hate us.
Like I really my main thing that I'm just like kind of laughing at is like this really is the fifth version of Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. The more or less based off of the first remake, which I'm like I think people are like on one mind I'm like, yeah, that is kind of strange how like they haven't made a new F-Zero game because they needed to come up with new ideas, but then they're like just remake Star Fox again. But I do think it's also one of those things where like, they have a nice simple plot and a simple like setup that this is more about like, testing hardware and like
Yeah,
testing visual effects and stuff like that rather than just like coming up with a new crazy thing. I feel like Star Fox has been always been more about even back on the Super Nintendo, it being a wireframe animated game, more or less, it was a
yeah.
pseudo 3D game. It's all about more pushing the tech rather than having like, interesting other ideas, I guess. That is me being, I guess, a little
It's
more than generous in that regard. But
it's funny
man,
that you say that too. It being like a testing for all this new stuff, because I really think that's the case. Um, I really do think that this is a precursor to something else. They're trying. I think they're trying to put the feelers out there for Star Fox, because spoilers, guys, it's been in the movie theaters for a couple weeks now. Um, Fox McCloud makes his first cinematic appearance in Super Mario Galaxy movie. Um, and he's freaking great in that movie. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out, because Fox was definitely one of the highlights in the movie. Now, granted, he looks cooler in the movie than he does in this game. I'll give it that. But I think they did this because it was just same game, new coat of paint, cinematics, and all that stuff. So they did add some stuff to it, but a lot of it is the same. And I think the reason why they did that was to introduce this new audience that obviously is going to go to that movie, the Mario Galaxy movie, see Fox and be like, "Oh, what's this? Oh, there's a new Star Fox game. I seen that guy in the Mario movie." So they're basically making a whole new audience for Star Fox with him being in the movie and then redoing this game. I
yeah,
think that's the plan. And if this is successful, which means if you want to see another Star Fox game, guys, you got to go out and buy it. If
you
it's
can't just be
successful,
like Star Fox
then
Zero and just not.
right, then I think if this is super successful, and I think it will be, and then this is where we get the next one. Because I already think they're developing whatever's after this. I have a feeling they've already started.
Well,
Um,
I mean, actually, kind of goaded would be they do Star Fox 2, but in the remake style. I think
yeah,
that'd be fun.
and not a shitty fly all over the place and kind of have to do it Majora's Mask style. Because basically, Star Fox 2 is just Star Fox versions of Majora's Mask. You have a set time limit to do certain things, and it was not good at all.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that's what this is. I think this is putting their feelers out to see
Yeah,
if
and it doesn't seem like the kind of game where they're like they probably don't want to have to put in all the design work to remake or like to do level designs and like and all other kinds of stuff. They're just like, look, we'll do another remake and we'll see if people give a shit at this point. Because
right.
especially because like you wouldn't know that Star Fox Zero was essentially a remake of 64 until you like either played it and you know what 64 was, or you heard from somebody that was a remake because the name seemed like it was almost like a prequel or something like that.
Yeah.
And also, not a lot of people really understand that Star Fox 64 is literally just Star Fox again.
Yeah. So the thing
So
is
it's
to
like it
yeah.
feels like even to the most like ignorant of gamer, it'd be like, oh, they're remaking Star Fox 64. Okay, cool, nice. So it's not as bad. Whereas like gamers who are in the know of like, this is the fifth fucking time you've brought Ultraman to class.
So the thing is too with doing it like this is I hit my mic. Uh the thing with doing it like this is too is like I said, it introduces a whole new audience to it
Ultraman.
because this is basically aimed at kids, right? I wish it was a
Of course,
little bit mature for us, but Nintendo has always been about kids.
it's the console. I mean, it's like why they haven't given Pokemon a budget.
Right, right. But yeah, man, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, cool. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm a diehard Star Fox fan too. My favorite one is Assault, and but it is a lot of assaults. But Assault didn't sell well, so it is a lot of people's favorites. But it was also probably one of the worst ones. Now, the reason why I feel like they did this is because Star Fox 64 is the best-selling Star Fox game of the franchise.
To be
Um,
fair, dude, that like I've seen footage of it. I'm like, did it run at 60 FPS on this on the N64?
I think it was 50. I want to say,
50 or 60, this is still pretty good for N64 and for how much
yeah.
detail they crammed into that dude. I will say that would give more into credence to the idea of it being more of like a technical test of the console rather than it being like a
I th-
franchise with like ideas.
I think it ran better if you had the expansion pack in it.
Say affectionately. For sure, for sure. No, I mean, I'd have to look into that, but like every time I look at Star Fox 64 footage, I'm like, this ran on the 64? The fuck?
Yeah. I know it's still even today it looks great.
Yeah, no,
Now
I'm
granted,
genuinely still impressed. Yeah.
granted, until now, the 3DS version was the best version of the game. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I already pre-ordered it. I'm good to go on it. I can't wait to finally have something to put in my Switch too and be excited about. It's been a little bit. Pokemon ZA was honestly the last thing, and even that kind of turned out to be meh. But and then I was gonna commit and do Pragmata on it, but when I seen how much better it ran on the PS5, I was like, gotta give it to old reliable.
I never thought I'd care about hair physics until I was like, until I saw like, until Capcom made me be like, oh, like the hair and when Grace is hanging upside down in Resi 9, and
Hmm.
also Diana's hair in Pragmata. I'm like, huh, I didn't know I care about hair physics this much.
Hmm.
Anyway, but it's also
But yeah.
incredible the fact that it flows naturally. We'll get into that later.
Now, granted, I do have some gripes with it. So my first gripe is Falco. Falco does look, and Miyamoto said they wanted him to look more realistic to animals, and they did a good job. But Falco
Yeah,
looks too much like a bird. I wish he would have been. I wish he would have looked more like Rivali, because Rivali was like the perfect example of an anima. I can't even say the word right now. Um,
anamorphic.
yeah,
Yeah, sure,
basically a human-like bird.
for sure.
Um,
Yeah, there.
but yeah, I wish he would have looked more like Rivali. Then there is that rumor that him and Rivali are obviously descendants to each other. Um, but yeah, I wish he would have looked more like that. And then today, I finally seen his full body, and they showed his legs, and
He's got bird legs.
he's got bird legs, and I'm like, ooh, why does that not look right? It's I don't like that because
Fair,
in
fair.
all the previous games, you're used to him having like human style legs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I like this or not. I mean, but granted, I have a couple, it's fine. I'm sure it's going to be great. Now, my biggest gripe is with Slippy. and it's like, why do you look so wet? Like,
I know,
why?
god damn. I'm like, is is there ray tracing on this fucking
Yeah,
frog?
yeah. I'm like, why is he so shiny? Why is he so wet? Why does he look like he stinks? I
He really
don't.
does. He's like, dude, I would
But
not want to be next to that dude.
yeah, but other than that, I mean, the cinematics look phenomenal. Some of the sneak peek that we saw in the prologue was phenomenal. Um,
I will admit it did take me a minute to like kind of get adjusted to the character designs, and some people were saying ugly. So it was like
it was very jarring at first. Yeah.
like a lot of people were saying like like bad like Sonic model before fans
Oh,
complain. I'm like
yeah.
that's not a good comparison. This wasn't as revolting, anywhere near as revolting. It's just a little uncanny. There's a difference between kill it with fire and uncanny. Okay,
Ugly Sonic was kill it with fire.
that was definitely the case. Whereas like this is more like this is a little uncanny, but once you kind of just sit with it for a
If
little bit, you kind of get
and
used
that's what
to
I
it.
did. I watched the trailer a couple more times. I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this. Just fix Falco's legs. But yeah, June 25th, guys. If you haven't pre-ordered it, pre-order it now. Go
And
and support Star Fox.
they announced it like literally a month and a half before it came out. God bless them.
Yes, yes, they did the
God bless
Bethesda.
those people at Nintendo.
They did the Bethesda. Here's the game. It comes out next month. Then leave us alone. I love it.
Yep. Unlike a Bethesda game, hopefully this actually runs on day one. It's a joke.
Yeah, right. But yeah, June 25th, guys, go check it out. Go check out the trailer, watch the direct. It was amazing. And then yeah, we'll talk about that for sure once it gets here. Um, moving on to our next little bit of news. We got surprise drop DLC for Resident Evil 9, guys, and it's pretty damn good. So today Capcom dropped surprise DLC in the form of Leon Must Die Forever. If you haven't tried it out yet, go update your Resident Evil. It's on there. It's in part of the extras. Basically, what it does is it turns Resident Evil 9 into a level-based rogue-like shooter. You go from level to level, leveling up by shooting zombies. Each zombie drops ammo so that you're not hung in the dark. Each level, the difficulty increases. Damn, I got the hiccups until you die. Certain enemies require you to do certain things before you can damage them, such as parrying or doing other things, but you'll go and find that out. It is out right now, so go ahead and check that out. It is really fun, really freaking hard too. I plan on doing that after we're done here. Um, but yeah, go check it out, guys. It's pretty freaking good, and of course, you get to play as my boy Leon again. And the more Leon, the better, because Big Daddy Leon just starves for attention. Um, but yeah, you gonna check this out, Nate?
Oh yeah, no, I've been waiting for some kind of mercenaries mode to drop for this game just because I even after going through all the other combat or after going through all the other Resident Evil remakes recently, except for 3, I haven't gotten through that one, but I've gone through the remake of 2, remake of 4, 7. Haven't played 8, but for the argument of this, it doesn't really matter in that regard. 9 feels fantastic, mostly the parry, but at the same time, like the way the gun selection set up for the PlayStation, where it's like on the D-pad and you can kind of just quick swap like pretty easily and assign those.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed how 9 handled a lot of its gameplay mechanics in comparison to other Resident Evils, even the recent ones. It's when I really kind of I understand when people say the first half of the game is great and the second half of the game kind of drags. I think on first playthrough I will agree because Leon's big open section's a little confusing of like where the fuck do I go? But on replays, I don't know, it's actually kind of simple.
yeah,
I don't
it
know.
gets easier as you start unlocking things too.
Yeah, no, yeah, that and also like it just becomes like a more like okay, I know exactly what to do now, and I'm not just
Oh
like
yeah,
wandering around in a giant place where I'm like just pumping zombies full of lead and feeling like it's taking forever.
yeah.
It feels a lot quicker on replays, and I don't know, like I get why people are like about it, but the combat for Leon section is just as good as like the horror of Grace's section, in my opinion. It's like if like oh I wanted a scary game, play 1 or 7 then, dude. I don't know what to tell you. This is not
Yeah.
like or just exclusively enjoy Grace's sections because it's very much hopping back and forth between the original Evil Dead and Army of Darkness at this point in terms of tonal shift, but you're gonna have to be okay with it.
Yep.
I think it's also because we Western American gamers don't like our tone shift. We're like, oh, we have to maintain the dignity of and the delicate balance of tone, whereas Japanese developers are just like, okay, after a really sad scene, what if a naked man shows up and dances like in front of you, like in Yakuza? I swear to God that happens. I swear to God.
Same thing
No,
happens
like,
in the Order 1886. You get to see a lot of vampire dick.
but it's just like they don't really care about tonal consistency because they understand that, like, this is a game. We're having fun here, and sometimes when a game gets a little heavy, you need to be reminded that, like, hey, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little bit of a healthier mindset than being like, I'm gonna be depressed even well after I finish this game. Ah, come on, bro.
Hmm.
But regardless, that was a little bit of a rant there. But I definitely am looking forward to messing around with this for a while. I don't know how long I'm going to, just because usually
It's
when it comes to these kinds of modes, I'm like, give me like 5 hours at most, and then I think I'll just
yeah.
call it a day after that.
It's definitely one of those things. It's like, oh, I'm in the mood to do something real quick. Let me go shoot some zombies. It's definitely not going to be one of those things that you're consistently playing. It's going to be one of those things. It's kind of like, I got a couple minutes here and there.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Yeah.
I'm still looking forward to like seeing how it works and seeing if like how good I can get it with it. But if it gets to the point where I'm just like, I am not this sweaty to get good at this, I might
It
just call it.
it gets pretty hard in the later on. So yeah, I don't think I've
Which is
made it
fine. I
past stage 3 yet. So
damn. Okay, so I'll
yeah.
I'll give it a shot and hope we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. And then moving on, I think that's pretty much it for right now. And then moving on
Um,
to the main
what about
topic.
the Switch 2 price?
Oh, that's right. Thank you, thank you. Yes. So yeah, so announced, what was it announced yesterday or today?
Either I think it was this morning.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's been so
Or
crazy.
last night, and then like gamers woke up at like or like saw it at 3 a.m. We're like, I gotta go to bed and then make a video about this at 7.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, so Nintendo's investors have been pushing Nintendo to raise the prices on the Nintendo Switch 2 just because the other two companies, Xbox and PlayStation, have both raised the prices to them, and then PlayStation's allegedly going to raise them again, which is kind of scary. Um, but yeah, so we woke up to news about I guess the investors finally got their way. Nintendo had announced that starting in September, the Switch 2 is going to be going up $50 in price, making it $499.99 from the $439.99 that it is now. Um,
which to be fair is not as bad as the Switch 2 in Japan, where it's literally going up by
$100.
20%. It basically like it's going up by 10,000 yen.
Yeah. Um,
Ooh.
so yeah, 499.99 for a Switch 2. Now, granted, that's still not that bad for a phenomenal piece of hardware that's finally starting to come into its own. And we are only 1 year into the console's life already. So there's
Yeah.
definitely more to be had. Um, though, side note, there is a rumor of an all digital version of the Switch launching at the around that time that's supposed to be announced sometime at Summer Games Fest. Now, granted, this does make sense considering lately Nintendo's been the one and only person, and this is really cool, because they've been lowering the prices of digital games by $10 increments. So
Yeah.
Star Fox is 49.99 digitally, but 59.99 physically. And it's
Oh
kind
shit.
of
Hell yeah.
yeah, it's kind of tempting to just buy it digitally, to be honest. But I'm a physical media whore, so I gotta have that card. And the other good thing about that we didn't mention
Same.
is the Star Fox game is completely on the cartridge. So
Oh
no
yeah. I
GameCube
mean, I
card.
figure most first party Nintendo games I feel like are like do that. I think it's a lot of third party where they're just like, nah, just give us a cheap piece and
Yeah. Um, but yeah,
welcome to it.
$50. I'm kind of glad that I got mine already.
Yeah.
I got
I will be
mine.
getting mine beforehand, but
Yeah. I got mine launch week, so I got lucky, and it was by accident. I said I would only buy it if I was able to find it out in the wild, and I was at a Target actually buying Pokemon against the fiance's wishes, and it just happened to be there, so Daddy got both. Um, huh? Kevin. What? Oh, stop it. Um, but that was about a week after launch. I just happened to get lucky, and it just happened to be sitting there on the shelf. So yeah, we got lucky with it. Now, granted, I haven't really had too much fun with my Switch 2. At launch, there was one game that I was kind of into, which was I call it wheelchair basketball. I don't remember what the freaking name of the game was. Um, and then Metroid Prime was kind of fun, and I had a little bit of fun with Donkey Kong until about halfway through, and then the most time I spent on a game was Pokemon ZA. But hopefully Star Fox does change this. But man, $50. And if you haven't got your Switch 2, now's the time to do it. But from what I've heard, they're pretty well selling out.
Which good for them. I mean, like, there's only really one game I kind of want to play right now on my Switch that I want to get a Switch 2 just so I can play on a bigger screen, and that's this one right here, Xenoblade Chronicles X. But
Yeah.
other than that, um, and other games like I kind of want to play Cyberpunk 2077 just because the whole thing is on the cartridge for some reason. I think
So
that's hilarious.
I have dabbled in that on the Switch 2, and it runs freaking phenomenal. It's pretty good.
Really? Hell
Yeah.
yeah! The kind of
Yeah.
I might just do
I'm
that just to be funny.
I'm amazed at how well it actually plays.
That's what that I'm sold. If I ever get a Switch 2, I'm definitely getting Cyberpunk
It
2077
played
just so
better
I can
for it played better for me on the Switch 2 than it ever did on my PlayStation 4 Pro.
love it.
Um,
Yeah,
but
hell
yeah,
yeah.
I
That's
mean,
awesome.
oh man. But yeah, $50, man, especially right now with the way that the American economy is and that continues to get even worse. And then we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow because we got our hands in a little bit of everything right now. Um, it's just like, man, it hurts. It hurts a lot for people. So
No, yeah. And normally, like, I'm on that kind of like wavelength usually of like, hey, it wasn't like that bad, like it's not that bad right now. At the same time though, we're also getting bled dry in several other ways. Like, we didn't have cell phone bills and other kinds of like digital, like, we streaming service bills back in the day. Granted, you had cable maybe, but like you could also be like, okay, I don't want to do cable, I'll just do game, that's fine.
yeah,
So like there's ways in which we've been basically pickpocketed, uh and I mean that I say that affectionately. um there are ways in which, like, we've kind of let our wallets bleed a little, like, get cuts and like bleed a little bit, and like, it leak out and we're like, ah, where's my money going? And to be fair, financial literacy is not necessarily a thing that's taught.
yeah,
So it's rough. It's rough out here. So
yeah. It'd be crazy out in these
yeah.
streets.
But like, yeah, it is. Even like now, I'm like, even if I do get my finances like in order, I'm like, I'm still gonna be kind of under, because like just the how much expensive everything is these days. But
Yeah,
just all we can really do is just try and get through and figure it out, I guess. But I don't know. I'm of the two minds of like, I understand like people being like, I can't afford it, but it's also, you don't need a Switch 2. You do need rent money. So like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is just a luxury I can't really afford. It's like, no, I can't buy a new car. Okay, I wasn't really. It's like, didn't really need it in the first place. You have the Switch One.
yeah. It is kind of nice
Like,
though. I do appreciate that Nintendo has been moving away from the Switch 1 a little bit more. Uh, it's
yeah,
almost as
in some
if
regards.
Nintendo believes in generations. If you remember that old PlayStation saying they did, we believe in
Yep.
generations. Oh, hey, the PS4 is still alive. It's like, come on, guys, give it up already. Um,
I will say the one outlier that I actually think is kind of like, it makes sense for like the game itself was like, you can get a Switch One version of Metroid Prime 4, but I think that was also to like not piss off most of the fan base when like they released that.
well,
And
that
it
game
well,
was
wait,
yeah. Well, that game was also developed started for development on the Switch
It
One.
started for the Switch, so like if it was released exclusively on Switch 2, most Nintendo fans would be like raising fingers and starting
Yeah.
fires. So like there would be riots in the streets
Oh,
if it didn't do
you
that.
mean
So like
like I'm not gonna actually say it. I'm not gonna go there.
no, but like yeah, it's just so I understand like them wanting to like move on with generations
Yeah.
because I firmly believe in like, dude, like if we're releasing a PS4 version, that means we're having to consider the PS4. And like I am not the kind of person to really be like, we need to focus on graphics and all that. But if you're making a game for at a specific bar quality and you need to lower it because it's just like, well, we need to have a PS4 version,
Yeah.
brother.
Well,
It's like,
there was that other thing too that the Switch 2 has. I don't know when, but I know that the Switch 2 is supposed to be getting the Neo Genesis for Phantasy Star. Now I'm waiting for that because Phantasy Star on my breaks at work, yes, that would be awesome.
oh yeah,
Um,
I need to actually play through that.
dude,
I had it, I downloaded it, but I just never actually like opened it and got through it.
it's so good, man. If you ever decide to play, let me know. I'll start a new character because I always love
Hell yeah,
restarting my
hell yeah,
characters. But
hell yeah.
yeah, it's great, and I can't wait for Switch 2 to get it. But yeah, man, $50. If you haven't got your Switch 2, now is the time to do it. But the other thing, so
I will, I
the
will.
other thing that this does, well, see, I kind of hate that they announced this the way that they did because immediately the scalper's ears went boop, and you go and look on eBay right now, and you go and look at some of those prices that they're selling the Switch 2 at, and it's ugh. I've been doing my due diligence and reporting a lot of these. And if any of you out there watching see any of these Switch 2 scalpers on there, report their account and get it banned because yeah, that's dirty work. Um
No, we don't do that. We don't do that shit here.
yeah. But yeah,
Like
some of them going
do that for a PlayStation 2 game from from 2007. Don't do that with new hardware, you bastard.
yeah, so if you look on there on eBay, yeah, they're going for about 6, 7, almost $800 for a Switch 2 console, which
That's
yeah, and that was almost effective immediately. And that's a lot of the reason why they're sold out is the scalpers got their hands on them again. So
well,
if you
hopefully retail shops will actually do their job and keep things stocked in the
yeah.
meantime. If not,
Mm-hmm.
then just get it off Amazon, I guess.
Yeah. So if you haven't got your Switch 2s yet, guys, go pick it up. And
I
please
will.
don't support scalpers. If it's on eBay, just wait. You'll find one in the store. Um,
Agreed.
don't go on Mercari. Don't go on eBay and stay away from the marketplace and all that because you're gonna end up buying a box of bricks. Um, but yeah, moving on to our final subject and topic of the show is our review of Pragmata. Um, we both played, both beat, both platinumed. Um,
Oh shit, you
that
platinumed it?
yes, platinumed it Sunday.
Hell yeah.
So took me a little bit. It was hard. The
That
scorpion boss,
lunatic difficulty was fucking crazy.
the scorpion boss can literally lick my gooch.
Agreed.
It yeah, honestly one of the worst bosses in that game.
It's just
Um,
that it's just that it's the most obnoxious one because it's basically like, hey, remember you have a jump button. I'm
yeah,
like, fuck you. I don't
the
want him to remember that I have a jump button.
and it's the swipe is faster in insanity mode.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, guys, so we're going to be talking about Pragmata. We're going to get very spoiler heavy. So if you have not played it yet, or you haven't finished it, we're going to give you 3 seconds to click off and then come back later. And that 3 seconds starts in three, two, one. Spoilers. So we both, like I said, we both completed both platinumed. Uh, Pragmata, phenomenal game. It's teetering right here for game of the year for me. You got RE9 with Big Daddy Leon, and then you got Pragmata with Big Daddy Hugh. And I I can't decide. I'm leaning more towards Resident Evil 9, but Pragmata's fighting for it, and I'm finding more reasons to say Pragmata. The game's is it's a I don't know. It's an action sci-fi game. I wanted to say that it's a horror game, but it's not really that. Um, it's kind of hard to define what Pragmata is, other than a sci-fi action game.
Like, yeah, it I completely agree because like I'm not gonna lie, it feels like a sci-fi Resident Evil, but not
Yeah,
scary.
yeah,
Like it's
exactly.
just like it's the most T rate. Is it T rated? Like I forgot because like
It
like dude,
is. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we got it.
I
I don't
think it
even
is
have it.
because there's absolutely I don't there's absolutely nothing in there to make it anything higher than a T because like there's no blood or anything.
There's no
Dude says
blood.
like dude doesn't even swear. He says freaking. I'm like, what?
He think he
So
said a
like
couple of bombs here and
he's
there,
like,
but nothing.
damn, like, but like nothing crazy at all. Like nothing to be like, oh, this is
Yeah,
M rated. This is very much like a T rated action game. But like it feels, but like the entire time I'm like, this feels like Resident Evil.
yeah,
Like this just, I mean, like I mean that in the nicest compliment. 'Cause I also just I platinumed Requiem as well. So it's like
nice.
I know both of these
Uh,
games very, very, very affectionately at this point.
yeah.
I
So,
love
and
both
the
games
crazy part is they're both
equally at this
Capcom
point too.
games.
I know Capcom's basically just like arm wrestling itself for Game of the Year at this point. It's obnoxious. I love it because it's just like, dude, I couldn't imagine the Capcom of like the 2010s, sans like, 17 onward, ever coming back this
And
hard.
you know what's funny too is they have another game coming out this year
Yeah,
in
Onimusha. I'm like, god
Onimusha.
damn it.
So can they go
Oh,
three for three?
and also, dude, this is the most like niche but awesome thing they've done in a very long time. This
Oh
shit,
yeah, yeah.
good shit.
I wonder if
Love
Capcom
it.
can go three for three. Uh,
Dude, if I would love it if like the new Onimusha game is just like that good. I'm like, all right,
could
cool.
you imagine just they at the Game Awards? It's just three Capcom games in there.
It's like yeah, it's that's great. I would love that. Like
um,
no,
but
because
yeah,
honestly, like both are RE9 and Pragmata are like two different kinds of like they it's the kind of game that Capcom used to make back in the early 2000s. Devil May Cry ass,
yeah,
Resident Evil 4 ass games. Like just that kind of like good quality gamey ass video game experiences
mm-hmm,
that like with also just like a lot of the modern day tips, tricks, and all that stuff. It's
yeah,
great. Like, got the RE engine, which is the most powerful thing next to like the Decima engine right now. I know it doesn't
yeah.
do open world games as well because I know that Monster Hunter Wilds was a little but and then also Dragon's Dogma 2 was kind of disappointing, but that's just I guess kinks of working out of like an engine that initially started off as like very small and intimate into giant open world game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like yeah,
So the
it's
game,
like
the yeah, it's dude, yeah. I can't even. It's such a good game. Um,
it,
but the game
yeah.
starts off with your some kind of astronaut, Hugh and his team. You arrive at the moon base because you've lost communication with the people who are there, trying to figure out why. SOS signal was sent out, and everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. You get there, you realize there ain't nobody here. Immediately you're thrown right into the action. The team that you come with is all wiped out. Um, since something ain't right, the AI in the space station has turned against you. Don't know why. It's just malfunctioning. Um, you go through it. You're trying to reset it. When you come across one of the greatest characters in any video game of all time, little Diana. Um, you run into Diana and it's weird how you run into her because I've already forgotten. It's like, wait, how did you run into her again? What was the reason? And then
So yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, so basically like the AI takes over and it's like, please dispose of these intruders, and the walker comes in and like I think
Oh,
somehow the
that's
floor
right.
gives out, and then oh yeah, no, everything starts collapsing. James, one of the co-pilots, he gets crushed underneath something. He survives for a very scary death, the off-screen death later, but we'll get to that. Uh, maybe not. But then the screen, like everything fall, like they all fall down. The walker falls down. Hugh falls down, and then it just fades to black, and he just wakes up like underneath. Like it's kind of like the like the fall from Sector 7 kind of shit, where it's just like, how'd you survive that?
Oh yeah,
Don't
okay,
tell me you
that's
landed
right.
on flowers. Joking.
And
No,
then you wake
and
up.
then and Diana's gets like like a 3D printer, like a mobile 3D printer suit repair, and just repairs your suit because I guess you got some holes when you fell down. And then wakes you up by slapping you in the face, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna help out. Well, she's basically like, oh, hi, how's it going? And then a walker shows up to attack, and he's like, ah, shit, my weapon's not really doing much damage here. She's like, I'm a hack it, and then that allows you to do actual damage. Therefore, the only reason you're able to actually kill anything in this game.
Yes.
She's great.
Yep. Yeah, and then we got into a whole thing last week with non-people who are non-fans of the thing who are just looking for something to bitch about. And we won't get
Yeah,
back into it, but Diana is one of the greatest characters in video game history. Her AI in the game was phenomenal. The voice acting on there was phenomenal.
dude, the voice acting was incredible.
The bosses in the game were some of the best bosses I've fought in a long time. Sans the Scorpion, because again, that fucking thing sucks.
I
Um,
it's definitely like it's a good boss design, but goddamn if it didn't get annoying as hell, just being like,
oh man, no, it was a
I'm like,
great, it was a great boss, but its level of difficulty was just like, yeah, honestly, it was the
it's
hardest
like
thing I fought.
I spent more time on that boss than I did the actual final boss in the
Yeah,
game.
me
That
too.
wasn't. I'm like, the final boss wasn't even that bad on lunatic difficulty in comparison to the third boss for some goddamn reason. I mean, I love it, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the level design was great. Each zone was different. And getting to know Diana and introducing her into what was they called Earth, the REMs, the Earth
Earth,
memories.
yeah, Earth
Um,
members, yeah.
Watching her go around and play in that and actually like feeling, yeah, it was so weird because it was like I actually started feeling something for the character. I was like, dude, this is what it like to be a girl dad. Um, watching her play around in the little playground that you would unlock eventually, watching her sit at the little beach and then her asking to play hide and seek here and there. And it's just like, man,
Yeah.
you really did fall in love with having that character with you, and it was just like, man, and then her hacking ability and her being able to cleanse the certain things and being able to help you out in more ways than one. And then the way that the story ends, and it was actually I wasn't expecting it to hit me the way that it did, but it really did hit me really hard. And I was like, man, I sat there and after the game was done and I sat there and thought about it and I was like, that was game. Uh and then the subtle hints that they're probably going to continue. And then Capcom definitely has mentioned that, yeah, they want to turn this into a franchise. Now, granted, don't go overboard with it. I am curious to think how they would continue the game because it never really does hint on whether or not Diana and 8 can grow up. Like, they are androids, but do they age? Do they grow? It never really hints on that. Then again, she could probably get into one of those 3D printers and make her older self a bigger, older body. But then it
Yeah, it'd probably would
goes,
just be like a mod. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, the other thing too is it going to be Diana being the main protagonist in the next game? I mean, she did learn a lot from Hugh, and obviously she could store all those memories in her head. So, do we play as her in the next game? I'm generally like excited to think what the next game could be. Um, but going back to the first one, I was like, man, what a great each level was different, especially when you got to go outside of the space station and you're more free floating, your thrusters are a
Oh,
little bit
dude.
stronger and
Oh yeah.
uh,
No, like the level of variety was actually like by the time you get to like so like the first area is like okay cool you got like the I think actually the second area we get to essentially like AI slop New York City,
yes,
and
yeah.
it's like okay a little bit more open okay, and then you get to like the third biome which is more of like a forest area kind of thing, which fine, but then the fourth area where it's just like giant open areas where you have to just dash around dodging a
Mm-hmm.
giant worm. I'm like,
Ah,
okay,
the worm.
this is definitely like a lot more a lot more than I thought this game was capable of, for sure. Especially like when it came to scale, I appreciate it. Especially by the end of the game when you're like looking at the structures and the final. I'm gonna call it the nemesis fight.
Yeah. My
I'm like,
favorite
dude, this is stupid and I love it. And this is just a showcase of like, yeah, we look this good and we're also gonna be this dumb. I love it. It's great.
my favorite biome definitely was being outside on the moon and seeing all the views and how they made the Earth look. And
The fourth biome was pretty good.
yeah, it
Pretty
was
pretty
it
good.
was pretty good. My second one was obviously the New York copy, and I really enjoyed the New York boss battle fight. That was fun. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
but yeah, I mean, now moving on to weapons. Oh man, this game had some awesome weapons, from the homing missiles to my favorite weapon being the carbine. I freaking love the carbine, especially when I maxed it out. Um, the other thing, what was it? My go-to gun was clearly the shockwave gun, the shotgun. I used that
Mm.
thing.
Yeah.
That thing bailed me out more than I can remember. My other favorite gun was the charge laser. I always had the piercer, I think it was called. I always had that with me. It was the
Yeah.
shockwave and then the piercer. And then for the secondary guns, it was always the stasis net because that came in handy. Period. The stasis net
I
was goaded.
I strangely never used that one.
Dude, yeah,
Like I
that one
use it
came.
occasionally, but like,
So that one is why. So with that gun, I beat the worm in one shot because the stasis gun would keep him in
mm,
place, and then I would weaken his armor and take him out that way.
okay, that
Um,
makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, and then it
I'm
would
dumb and
keep
I just
him.
raw dog the whole game.
It would keep him still to where when you so because that the worm fight was the one where you would hack his little worm drones and then they would hit him. So if you stasis netted him and then started hacking the drones, they would all hit him, so he took more damage. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the biome where I was like, oh, this is definitely a game for me was when we were at the beach and they were doing the beach biome and I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, the third biome, like that was like a I appreciated that because it's like obviously it's like the what is the existential motivation for like what is Diane gonna do after this is like clearly it's like okay, well, this is giving her a goal, and like obviously you as the protect like the I guess parental figure in that case, the adopted parental figure, which is important because even Hughes adopted. This is supposed to be anything. This is a pro adoption game.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, but
Um,
it's just like he's like, okay, I'm gonna do my whatever I can to get her to Earth so that she can see the Earth for what it is, instead
yeah.
of like this weird like especially because after you get through that cutscene, you can actually walk around it, and it's just it's very Truman Show like kind of setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
And
okay, this is kind
it's
of weird and uncanny, actually.
yeah. No, I mean, and then there was a couple of and it was like every time you got into a new biome or a new area, it was just like there was something new to see, and the game opened up, and you're just
Oh
like,
yeah.
man, this game. There was something about it that just it always kept me in awe. I was always like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? Um,
and and they actually did have enough enemy variety. I know some people were complaining about enemy
lay
variety.
down,
I think that's just because like when they were when
lay down my.
I think they can't like the walker has essentially three different kinds of variants amongst just that one. And I think most people would think, okay, well, that's just one kind of enemy. It's like, no, that's three, because it's the evolution of like the regular walker, the armored walker, and then the dead filament walker.
Yeah,
That is three different enemies. Like, yeah, they have similar moves, but they also have different quirks that are added. It's part of just making the game more difficult instead of just color coding and making like that's a little old school. Now it's
my
like actual meaningful like upgrades to make I don't know. There's a lot of enemy variety in the game where it's like that never ever really bothered me. If anything, that kept me on my toes because it's like you get like the regular giant baby, I can deal with that. The dead filament one,
yeah.
okay.
The giant babies were hilarious. Every time one popped out, I would just laugh. Um, my
I'm like
favorite
this is a Yoko Taro game. Oh no,
my favorite enemies were the little samurai walkers. Uh,
those were
I
awesome. I
I
like those.
loved fighting those guys. It's like, oh, this is awesome. They were quick, and it was like when those guys were, because most of the enemies in the game I just never really felt a challenge from. I was just kind of like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
But the
those ones were
samurais,
constant. Like, no, no, you need to be on them.
yeah, especially when
They
they
will.
came out with a crowd, and you were just like, you had to specifically
Yep,
watch them because they were gonna slide and hit you with the beam. Um,
yep.
the other ones were the little spider walker things. I found those to be very annoying, especially when you're in a crowd with other bunch of enemies and then they're spinning around and hit you. I didn't like the little Squidwards.
Yeah, no,
Um,
they yeah, especially when they go all Sonic the Hedgehog on you. It's like,
yeah,
meow, like
yeah.
ah,
Those ones that did it sideways they weren't so bad, but the ones that went full leg spinning on like a top, those
yeah.
ones sucked.
Well, yeah, then when they start, yeah, when they start breakdancing in front of you, and it's just like, can you
Yeah.
please go away?
Um, but yeah, man,
No,
design,
I,
guns,
I so after you get in, so after you beat the game on lunatic difficulty, you get infinite ammo, and I love that because I really want to do another playthrough where I just go through it kind of just normal, but I just use just exclusively the shotgun to essentially just make this a more sci-fi version of Doom.
But yeah, no, yeah, level design, character design, enemy design, weapon design, biome design. It was just everything was just amazing. I was just like, man, I don't know. Um, and it's sad. And the only thing bad about this game was that the fact that we had the perverts that were like invading our space and making a big deal about something that just wasn't even, it shouldn't even been in their head to begin with. But again, yeah, kind of outed yourself, guys. Um,
Also, it. I think it is also just because like Hugh is the picture perfect idea of just like the positive masculinity where it's like, yeah, he's actually just a good dude. God
yeah,
forbid. One thing that I'm kind of not liking about Saros, for example, is that the dude just seems kind
yeah,
of like a kind of a dick. And like,
it's,
granted, he's like put through a lot of like a lot of trauma and stress in the story, so I'm like, I get it, but like I've listened to like story summaries, and I'm just like, this is I don't know. It's a bad like compare apples and oranges, but it's just like I'm really starting to notice that a lot of writers just kind of forgot to give like people redeeming qualities, especially if it's the main character.
or
Like unless
personalities.
it's like yeah that, but it's like here's the thing: you can give your main character no redeeming qualities. It has to just be the point of the game, like Spec Ops: The Line,
Yeah,
like where it's like this is a commentary about war and how like like regardless of like your intentions here, just like it's kind of just not kosher, but
yeah,
it but so like that makes sense. But if it's just like, okay, he was an alcoholic and now his wife left him for a woman, it's just, and now he has to basically live the rest of his life miserable on this planet where he's going insane. I'm like,
yeah,
did someone not go to their therapist this week? I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a little too mean about it, but I'm kind of digging like the fact that we've gotten some stories that it's like unapologetically hopeful, and also we
yeah.
have just good male role models again, because God forbid we actually stop hating ourselves.
But yeah, I mean, no, absolutely. And then, but man, overall game design, just wow. Even now thinking about it, it's just like, man, what a game. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like dude, the ending. Did you cry like a bitch? I cried like a bitch.
I did, yeah, I did. It
uh,
it hit me really hard. Uh,
dude, like, cause like, yeah, I could see it coming. Like, okay, well, I didn't.
it
I'm
it
never the
had,
kind of person who like obviously death flags. Like when he said, when she was like, "Oh, I can't get the dead filament off without like killing you." I'm like, he's fucked. We're game over. We're done. So,
yeah,
so it's like I knew it was gonna happen, but it's just like the fact that he just like nonchalantly sent her off. Like it's like, all right, see you in a week. Except not really. I'm like, dude, that kind of like hit harder, just because like I'm like, you're trying not to traumatize a kid, because
yeah,
you're about to die, and it's
yep,
just like, damn, the music hit, and like everything about it is just like, this is just a beautifully sad, but also like, dude, what a great bleed out spot.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm just
Um,
like peak bleed out spot, absolutely.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we basically briefed you guys on our thoughts of the game. We tried not to go into too much detail because I mean, obviously we spoiled quite a bit, but we didn't want to spoil all of it.
There
Definitely a
is one
game
thing I actually
worth.
do want.
Hmm.
I do want to talk about one thing because I've been thinking about this for a little bit. So in one of the files, it actually mentions that Diana so that child pragmata are actually illegal on Earth.
Oh, I
Now
missed
she's on
that.
the planet. So
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
like,
true.
who's gonna get her? I'm hoping it's not the government. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm just like, that's another thing where I'm just like, okay, this is hopeful, but at the same time, oh God, what's gonna happen to her?
yeah, yeah, and that's why I said, like I said, I'm excited to see
Or like,
where we go next. But yeah, I mean that's our
yeah,
thoughts on Pragmata, guys. So we're going to give it a score. Each one of our scores will be different. I'm sure, maybe not. Um, but I mean, I'll go first. I am going to give Pragmata, the Fat Man Gaming, 10 out of 10. The reason why I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 is obviously, like we had talked about, it's weapon design, level design, story, character design, voice acting, enemy design was perfect. It's like this was truly one of those once in a generation perfect games. Granted, it did have little hiccups here and there, but it was nothing ever too egregious. It was like minor things that I thought were irritating. But they weren't irritating enough to where I even wanted to talk about them today because it was mostly me problems. Being that I just needed to get good. Um, but yeah, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 for all of those reasons. Like I said, it's borderlining my game of the year, but Big Daddy Leon keeps sharpening that axe, and I keep falling in love with it. Um, but yeah, Nathan, Pragmata, what are you going to give it?
I normally I kind of don't do numbers, but at the same time, like I can't help but be like, I it might actually just be a 10 out of 10 game, just for the fact that I can't really find anything like I really have a too many bad things to say. Like it was a nice, fun, like relatively small. It only like it took me 30 hours to platinum.
Yeah,
That's nothing. And
and
even then, I can probably still go back and perfect the challenges because I only did the main objectives for those. And again, I can go through the game on New Game Plus with infinite ammo and pretend this is sci-fi Doom. That
and
sounds incredible.
and that was the thing about Pragmata. It was one of those perfect design games, but it didn't overstay its welcome. You literally felt
Absolutely.
the joy of it, and then it ended, and you're like, okay, I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah. No, it had the assassination classroom formula where it's like 75% of this, or I'm sorry, 95% of this is a fun time, 5% of this sad as shit.
Yep. So
Which I'm
hey
like,
guys.
I love that formula. So I will
Oh
say,
yeah.
Bill, sorry, my cat's moving the camera.
No,
I
you're
will
good.
say, yeah, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. That this and Resident Evil really are just like kind of just eyeballing each other for like who's going to go for game of the year this year because
Yep.
there can't be two Capcom games, can there?
Yeah.
But
Uh,
like it's fighting neck and neck.
mm-hmm.
Saros isn't really going to be cracking my top 3 anytime soon.
Yeah,
Like
I started it. It's definitely not for me. And it could be that I'm just not in the mood from it from coming off of two games like
that's
Resident Evil
fair.
9 and Pragmata, but I don't
I
know.
got
We'll
ADHD,
see.
so like I gotta move on to like other things, and like I'm having fun with it. I do think that I like the fact that runs are shorter. I do think that I don't know. There's a lot of things I could probably say about it, and I need to focus my thoughts and like actually get through more of the game because I played about 60 hours of Returnal, and I still didn't finish that fucking game. That game is hard as shit.
Mm-hmm.
But Saros is a tad bit easier, but it's also nowhere near as punishing for the fact that you don't have to
Yeah.
do a run that's 45 minutes and it ends and you're just wound up with nothing except for maybe a little bit more ether, which is oh cool. Pennies for what I just did. All right, whatever.
Yeah.
So other than that, like again, story's kind of so it's a fun gameplay loop, but we'll see how much like I like it in comparison to Returnal in the long run. but yeah, I do like the fact that it's significantly quicker though. It definitely like I like that, but it's also can be get a little chaotic where you're just surrounded by a bunch of enemies and like you're playing essentially a 3D bullet hell, and you're like, oh god, this is a lot.
Yeah. So, guys, that is our thoughts and ranking on Pragmata. It's our first 10 out of 10 tie on here. So there you guys have it. It's a perfect game. Definitely go try it out and let us know what you think. And guys, those of you who are watching this, and I've seen the numbers lately, there's so many of you, and we appreciate it. Do leave likes and comments. Or you're good at leaving the thumbs up, but leave the comments because we like to answer them, and we need those. Um, but yeah, like we do always, we're gonna end the show with what we've been playing, and then we'll see you guys in the next week. But yeah, Nathan, what have you been playing?
Yeah, again, playing Saros, just trying to play through that. However, I do want to get maybe my PS2 set up so I can actually like play Rule of Rose instead of just having a $750
Paperweight.
paperweight. At this point, I'm like, I do want to play through it now just so I can see like after I've played some like modern horror games like the Silent Hill remake, a lot of Resident Evil games and stuff like that. And I want to go back and play some old school horror games, maybe to like kind of get myself familiarized with that and then play through that, or maybe just see how it is. But I just
Yeah,
know that it's not going to be a fun time. I've heard the gameplay isn't great, but I don't really care about the gameplay when it came to a lot of old school horror games because if we're being honest here, a lot of the combat in those games were just not good.
yeah, that's true.
It's like nobody really played Silent Hill 2 for the combat. Just
Yeah.
saying. But it's just me. So I'll probably do that, but who knows? I might just say screw it and just like play like something else on my PS5 or something like that. I don't know. I'll probably be with Sorrows for a little bit, but
Hmm.
I also want to get back to Xenoblade X on my Switch.
Yeah.
That and
Yeah.
also Mega Man 9 and just maybe Mega Man 10 after that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hell
but yeah.
yeah.
How about you, my friend?
I am currently I'm going to be deep diving into the Leon Must Die Forever. I'm
Oh,
really
yep.
actually
I'm gonna download that later.
really enjoying that game mode. It's really fun. It's making me want to play through Resident Evil 9 again. Um I've also have the hankering to go back and do a new game of Expedition 33. I don't know what it is, but something's been making me want to go back and play the game over again. Um, I don't remember. Is there a new game plus?
Yes,
Okay.
I think there is.
I'll probably go and
I
do that so I can
think.
fly
Don't
through the story then.
quote me on that.
I'm not 100% sure either. So whether there is or there isn't, I think I'm gonna go back and play that. And then I need to finally do it. I need to finally play Final Fantasy 16. It's sitting here. It's still plastic wrapped. I haven't done it yet. I want to get it over with. Um, and yeah, and then I guess until I'll be doing that until that, and I'll mix in some Fantasy Star until Star Fox comes out.
I'm close enough to finishing it. I might just get finish FF7 remake. I'm like on chapter 14 or something like that. I might as well just wrap
Oh
that up
yeah,
just so I can move on.
you're right there at the end.
Yeah, I might just do that just so I can just move on from it. I like the game. It's just for some reason it really just it doesn't drag me in. Maybe I'm just having a hard time with Final Fantasy right now. It's really weird. Who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe like I love 7, don't get me wrong. I just think that maybe I've seen too many iterations that basically just doing this again is just kind of like silly to me.
yeah.
I don't know. I would talk to my therapist about it, but I don't think she really cares about my gaming habits. But I hope you enjoy 16. I enjoyed it for what it was. I do think that it's a good game. Like again, like I say this about 15 and 16. Final Fantasy 15 is a 7 out of 10 that I love, and Final Fantasy 16 is a 8 out of 10 I just kind of like.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's like objectively 16's better, but I'm more emotionally attached to 15. It's really strange.
Shithead.
but it's still a great game. It's still a really good game. It's just I don't know. It didn't really like tickle all my fancies, even though the voice acting was pretty good. The
Yeah,
combat is pretty damn good. I just think that it's I don't know because you can have like 50-hour RPGs that have simpler combat systems, and people just say that's okay, like an ease game or something like that. But for some
yeah.
reason, a more complicated system like this, oh, it's only good for 20 hours. That's some horseshit. Uh, I don't know. I think it paces itself out pretty well. There's a lot of fucking side quests. You don't need to do all the goddamn side quests. Just please, honestly, I think that might actually be my main problem with with 16. We can do this conversation later. I realize I'm
Yeah.
about to start ranting about 16 because I'll let you finish that and we'll talk about it. Because if anything, that'll give me like time to play the DLC, which I never got to. So we'll continue this whenever you do finish Final Fantasy 16. But just know it's a good game. I have some problems with it, but it's still a fun time overall.
Nice. Well, guys, that's gonna do it for us. We will see you guys next week for sure, unless anything crazy happens, and obviously we'll try to schedule an emergency show. With the way that things have been in the gaming industry, who freaking knows? You never know when Miyamoto's gonna come out and throw that man-sized dong on the table and say, "Here's Star Fox." Um,
Yeah, who knows? Like there might be like a huge announcement where we're just like, we gotta talk about this.
well, remember, we're in the
Like,
what anniversary are we in for Zelda? That's now. It's the 30th. Is it the 30th anniversary?
what 40th?
Something like that. And I know it's
Yeah, because 80
anniversary.
86, right?
Yeah, it's anniversary time
Yes, sir.
for. Oh
Yeah,
wow,
so it's
has it
40th
really?
anniversary. So
Wow. Yeah. Um. So yeah, we're in Zelda anniversary territory. The movie's going to be coming out. Is it next year or this year?
I don't know actually. I haven't
I
even
know.
seen
I
anything
completely
about that.
forgot. I know that they just wrapped up filming. I think it's next year.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, I didn't. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they just wrapped up filming last month. So it's basically in polish and cleanup and polish mode. Um,
Hmm.
I imagine we get a trailer this year. Um, but yeah, so there's that. So who knows? Maybe they'll come out and Nintendo be like, well, Summer's Game Fest is coming up too, so we'll see.
Yeah, true.
Um,
Hmm.
but yes, guys, until next week, we are the Fat Man Gaming Team. I am your host, and down below is my co-host Nathan. Um, hey guys, we were on time this week. A little bit late for us, but on time. So more than likely, you'll be seeing this on Saturday sometime. Saturday the 9th, which technically already is. Um, but yeah, till next week, guys. We appreciate you guys. Leave us those likes and comments, and we'll see you guys in the next one. And send us out, Nate.
Have a good night. Get home safe, okay?
We'll see you guys.